Viking Black here, 2025. How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing well. I know I haven't been making as many videos as normal, but today I'm celebrating. I celebrate every day. 54 days without a drink. I'm truly thankful. I feel great. I feel better than I've felt in a long time. And it's a process, day by day. Uh, I'm sure that some of you have seen some of my videos in the past, and you can tell when I'm kind of drinking and when I'm not. I've got some good ones on there though, and I think pretty much everything I put on there, I'm 100% me. I don't, I may hurt myself a little bit, but all of you do know one thing for sure is I'm not fake. I am Viking King Blake, and I'm 100% real human being, just like all of you. 54 days without a drink, and I'm telling you, every day I make that choice to get up and not have that drink. My life just gets better and better. I want to reach out to some of you guys out there, and because I just want to put it out there that I suffer from the disease of addiction. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm still a good person. I always have been, even when I'm using. I just kind of don't have no filter. I'm not totally proud of that. But I always try to be the best person I can be. I have a lot weighing on me, I'm a human being. Life is stressful as hell, We've been COVID or tornadoes or Hurricane Helene, went through, the LA burning down. Even though I'm not there, man, my heart goes out to all of you. Worldwide, all kinds of crazy stuff's happening. And I feel like that's because, Ragnarok is right around the corner. I say that because I'm Viking, but, some of you would call it, Armageddon. Or, if you're a Christian. I don't look at things that way, we're all talking about the same person. I choose the gods and the old ways. But no matter who you are, I have respect for anybody that's doing the best they can, no matter what they believe. That's just, trying to do the best they can out there. It's totally understandable sometimes, after seeing everything that's going on, that, it's totally understandable, I mean, we all have pretty good reasons why we just don't want to think about all this stuff. It's just too much. It's just too much out there. But I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to change the world, and I want everybody to know, all of you out there that are still suffering from my disease and of addiction, and I want to reach out to all of you and let you know there is hope. There's hope for you. There's hope for everyone. I'm not saying that makes you a bad person, because I know it don't. Some people in addiction or just people, period, that doesn't matter what they use. They're just not good people. Unfortunately, when I'm in my addiction, I put myself in places and surround myself with some people that's just crazy as hell, It's not easy out here. It's scary out here. So people don't really feel like they have a choice. But I'm telling you, today you do, There's nothing to be ashamed of, Some of the best people I know are people in recovery. And I'm in recovery today. And, I want all of you to know, no matter what you're going through, I want the best for all of you. I love all of you out there in the world. Y'all my brothers and sisters. No matter what color you are, black, blue, purple, green, red, it don't matter. Whether you believe in the All-Father Odin or you believe in Buddha or whatever you believe in, as long as you're a good-hearted person. You're just, try to be the best person you can be, and you are who you are. I think that's a beautiful thing. Individuality is a beautiful thing. But all those people out there that are stressed to the max and, in a bad place, without in between, homeless, whatever that looks like for you, I'm here to say that there's hope. There's hope for everyone. And I'm here to show you that, I try to practice what I preach. That it does get better. I mean, life still happens. The only difference is I choose not to drink today, and every time I choose that, every day I choose that, the happier I become, the better my life is, and that's just a symptom, really, because I'm just masking a whole lot of things that fucked up things that I've been through in my life. I'm sure that most people can relate. None of us have had easy lives. You know, we're all human beings. I'm just a human being. I'm part of the human race, and I suffer from the human condition, just like almost all every person on this earth suffers from the human condition. I see a lot of things out here that are not great. You know, I'm here to change the world. Not only change myself, but change the world. You know, all these people, we gotta quit putting our faith in money. Money's not the solution. It truly isn't. I know we think it's necessary, but truly, if we all come together and just take care of each other first, and quit putting a dollar price on human life, or we shouldn't look down on others that are struggling, because we don't know what that person's going through. The reasons why they're doing what they're doing. I know that they do have a reason, and there's a lot of people struggling in this world. And there's people that still struggling, but they choose not to do those types of things, but they're still doing things that they shouldn't do, that they feel deep inside. Hey, if you feel it in your own heart, you know yourself. You know when you're doing right, you know when you're doing wrong. But anyway, I want to shout out to everyone, let everybody know that I love each and every one of you. I'm not here to take over the world. I hope to be successful and be able to have a good living. But for me, I know what it's like to do without completely. And money don't buy happiness. Trust me on that. Drugs don't make you happy for sure. But anything that's changing the way you feel or masking that, keeping you from living life, keeping you from holding you back from the true great person that you are. I say today, for myself, no more. I'm going to be the 100% greatest person I can be every day. And like I say, I'm trying to do this with actions, not with my words. I'm going to practice what I preach. And if you guys get out of here and get to meet me, get to know me, you'll know that I am everything that I say I am. I truly do care about everyone. I'm learning how to do good things like set healthy boundaries. I'm learning how to deal with things today in a more positive way, a more constructive way, instead of self-destructing, and letting this world kick my ass. I choose to fight. I choose to never give up no matter what. Even if I fall tomorrow and I have a drink, I just got to get right back up and never give up no matter what. So, I hope all of you know that you are worth it. Like I say, I don't look down on no one. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. If you're out there doing that crazy shit, I've got to distance myself from that shit because, but I want you to know that there's hope for you. All you have to do, there's so much out here, and I know it's hard. It's not easy getting help, trust me. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done, and having to look at myself and change the way I think. I've got 50 years on this earth, getting ready to be 51, and I've handled things a certain way all my life. But like I say, man, it's just, you go on, watch on YouTube or whatever. I don't care what you're watching, man. The world's falling apart completely. There's some good things going on out here, some positive things. But it's going to take each and every one of us sticking together, putting our differences aside, no matter what color, black, blue, purple, green. We're all human beings and we need to stick together. That's how we're going to change this world. That's how we're going to make the America great again. As if all of us like-minded people get together and quit looking at the little things, the little differences that doesn't make a shit, and join together, because there's a lot of like-minded people like me out here that wants to do better, not just for themselves, but they want everyone to have a chance, for our children to have a chance, to have a chance to have a world to inherit, not a pile of ashes. And I've said this many, many times, yeah, it's really not in our hands, but it is. Each and every single person can make a difference. And me by myself, I can do what I'm doing now, but I can't change the world by myself. I need every one of my brothers and sisters, all the great people out here in the world, all the like-minded people, great warriors and human beings. Let's stand up and fight for what's right. Let's stand up and fight. Do the next right thing. That's what we got to do. We got to do the next right thing. And I've got to be an example. I got to practice what I preach, and I do that. I'm doing this by the way I live. I live what I preach, or I try to. I'm not perfect. I suffer from the human condition, like I say. And tomorrow's another day. But today, 54 days now, I've chosen not to take a drink, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I mean, I know you can look back at some of my videos, and there's some times when you've seen it. You can tell the difference when I'm drinking and when I'm not. And I'm not a bad person, period. But I say, I don't know. I feel better about myself. And, the things I say, I'm not ashamed of anything and have feelings, because we all have feelings. But to show that I'm a human being and have feelings and that I'm just like you. But today, I'm choosing better choices. I'm making better choices for myself each and every day. And I want you to know that you can do those things for yourself too. What I'm doing, you can do. It's not rocket science, people. It don't take all the money in the world, because what we got to realize is money don't make everything better. Sometimes it just complicates shit a whole lot more. It makes shit a whole lot more complicated. The more you make, the more they take. We got to if we're going to change this world, it's got to quit being about how much money you got in the bank, okay? Because if we all join together, we just do the right thing and take care of each other, fight for each other, for our, the rights for us to be able to have our own families, to be human beings and try to be the best. We want peace on earth, if it's possible. But if we need to jump in and kick some butt to change some shit, that's what we got to do. We got to be willing to do it. And it can't be about money. Money's destroying our families. Look around. Everybody's out here. Their significant other and themselves, they're working 2 jobs apiece. They're not spending time in their relationships. They're not spending time with their children. I know we got to work, and I know we got to survive. But we're working 2 jobs apiece. We ain't got time to spend in our significant other and our relationships and with our children, and we're still struggling. Does them 2 jobs, working those 2 jobs and losing, not having all that, losing that perfect connection, those relationships in our life that, as a human being, I need, I need my significant other and my kids and my loved ones, and I want them to be took care of. But a lot of that don't have nothing to do with money. Money don't mean love, okay? Money don't make shit right, okay? Handing our kids everything that they want and them not having to pay any consequences, or not learning how to work, to know when they're growing, letting them grow up with unrealistic expectations that, they go to college, they're going to be doctors and lawyers and all that. And some of them will be successful. But I know a lot of people out here right now that's got degrees and all that shit, and they're working at McDonald's. Okay? I'm saying, we got to quit making this about money. There's people out here, the elderly, people drawing Social Security, you and me, we can't get the help we need or the medical care for our children. But, and we're working our ass off, paying for this insurance. But all the money in the world, is not going to make it better. It needs to be about doing the right thing. It don't need to be being about, if you got $1 million, I've got the cure for cancer. Okay, that's the part, the ridiculousness. We got to quit thinking that way. Look, all we got to do is take care of one another. Respect each other, for our differences. Some things we all know what that line is, is unacceptable. But if we're all out here doing the right thing, we're not going to let these people, these evil-minded people, we're not going to let that be around us. We're not going to have that around us. When I grew up, my dad and, all these families or whatever, well, the kids could be safe in their neighborhoods. They wasn't at work all the time, and they worked their butt off. Trust me. They were at work most of the time. But they still, my mom and everybody, was watching after the children. We had community. We all had, an unspoken rule, be good to thy neighbor, do unto others as you want done to you. We all were like-minded, and we didn't let this crazy-ass, stupid, unnecessary bullshit happen, okay? It's not getting better, people. It's not making it better. All the knowledge in the world, okay? Sometimes knowing, if you know it's fucked up and you're not changing it, don't that make it worse? That's one of the reasons I drink, I'm out here, and I know in my heart I got, what I'm needing to do. But I'm not saying that you're doing the wrong thing by trying to make money and, make sure your family has a roof over their head. That's admirable. But you know what? If we all stick together as a community, I'm going to make sure that everybody, we'll all, not just me, we'll all, as a community, get together and let's all make sure that everybody has a roof over their head, okay? This is because these people are out there living homeless and they're miserable as hell. Can you blame them? And you can say, because they're using drugs. No, that's not even it. There's a reason they're using those drugs. We can't just look the other way. Those people have some lifetime of real fucked up. Who knows what's happened to them, what they've been through, We got veterans that come back for wars and stuff, and I'm telling you, this world is fucked up, okay? And once you see some shit, you can't unsee that shit. War is not beautiful, but sometimes necessary if it's done for the right reasons. But it should never be about money. It should never be about politics. It should be about the betterment of all humanity. Peace, if we can have it, okay? But not allowing these crooked, evil politicians with money destroy everything around us. And then we feel, I'm just say about me, I've felt like I'm not good enough because I don't have that much money, but they make us believe that we're not as good as them because we don't have all the money, so we don't have no power. And, that fucked up thinking, people start believing that that's what they have to have. They have to be rich to make a difference, or be rich to be important. And that's not true. A lot of people that's very important, some of the best people in the world came from nothing. Some of the best people in the world that's out here making real life changes are not doing it because for the money. They came from nothing, and never forget where you came from. Always remember to take care of one another and give back to each other. I'm not saying, it's okay to make a little more than somebody else, but don't make it all about yourself, because you ain't going to be all the money in the world. I don't care. You got a giant pile of money. You can't defeat the world on your own. And if you're not spending time with your relationships and with your family and with your children, you're going to be all by yourself, trust me. And you're probably going to turn to drinking or turn to something, because you're really missing the one thing that's more important than all the money in the world. That's relationships. That's love. You know? Those things are way more important. You can't put a money value on those things. Community, respect. If you can go to sleep at night knowing you did it the best you could and worked as hard as you could, you know, and know that you went to bed and you worked hard and you lived honest as you possibly could, and, you know, then you're going to be fine, you know. A lot of us go to bed and think we're driving ourselves crazy. I need money, 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 money. I'm struggling. I'm going to lose my house. Going to lose it. Going to lose it. You know what? If we all stick together, we're not going to let that shit happen. Trust me. We're not going to let that shit happen. Because it shouldn't be about money. So let's stand up together. Let's do the next right thing. First of all, that starts with you. You do the next right thing you need to do for yourself. And I'm telling you, don't make it about money. You know, money is a necessity to a point, but it doesn't need to become the most important thing in the world. I dare say that the whole world, more than drugs, is fucking up. Money is leading that shit. Think about it. Think about it. There wouldn't be all these drug dealers and all these drugs and them trying to kill us if it wasn't about them making money. Fuck that shit. And they don't care about you. They don't care if you die. There's people dying every day. I've lost so many people since the past few years, but in a lifetime, but especially in the last several years to this fentanyl stuff. And I'm saying I'm no better than anyone else. You know, I lose hope too. It's easy to lose hope because you fight and you fight and you fight. If you're fighting for the wrong reasons, then you're going to feel empty inside. Fight for the right reasons. Okay? Don't do it for the money. Do it because it's the right thing to do. You know? Try to be the best person you can be because that's the right thing to do. And that's the best thing you can do for your family. For everyone around you. Is to not say fuck it. To not throw your life away. The best thing you can do and love you can show all of your children and everyone out there, everyone around you is going to prosper if you just take care of this shit right here. If you take care of yourself, look at yourself. Make the changes you need to make for yourself. Want this for yourself, and that's what's called self-love, people. And by paying attention to, and trying to better myself in my life, okay, then I'm going to, in turn, be more capable and a better person so I can help make changes where they need to be made. But I'm not doing this for me because I'm no better than no one else. I'm a human being just like you. But let's all get together, guys. Let's all be human beings, because this ideal shit of money's going to make everything okay, I promise you it won't. There's a lot of you out there, if you're seeing this and you got money and everything's still more fucked up than ever, then you know I'm telling the truth. Let's do the next right thing. Let's take care of each other. If there's some fucked up bullshit going on, then we need to deal with it the right way. There's some people on this earth that's really sick and don't deserve to be on this planet. And you know what I'm talking about. There's some fucked up people that don't deserve anything, but they're all human beings. There's no such thing. I don't believe that we're born evil. I don't believe that we're born sinners. I believe we're born into a world full of fucking sin. A bunch of fucked up people that are unbelievably still around us. Some of them doing really, really well for themselves, but they're the biggest pieces of shit on earth. I don't know how these people sleep at night, but the only way I can think is because these motherfuckers don't have a conscience. They're not doing self-love. They're like, fuck everybody else but me. That's called selfishness. Selfishness. So let's do the next right thing. I'm here to try to do the best I can to prove myself to be the best Blake I can be the best Viking King Blake I can be every day. Okay? I'm out here struggling, fighting, and I don't have to prove anything to any of you. But I'm doing this for me, and I love every and each one of you. I know you're all human beings too. Most of you are a lot like me. You actually care. And let's put our time and energy into doing the right thing. Taking care of one another. You know? Giving people the respect that they deserve. Because, you know, we all have bad days. You know? Small acts of kindness. You see somebody getting out of the car at the grocery store and they're struggling to get in, to stand up, and, grab them a buggy on your way up there and push that buggy up to them and say, here. You don't have to say nothing. Oh, you look like you were struggling. See somebody, that's struggling to walk, go up there and hand them a buggy so they can walk in the store and not fall and break a hip. It's not rocket science. And I promise you, not take over the world, or rule the world, or own the world. Together we can change the world. Viking Blake off.